What is going on, everyone? Coming to you once again, SHOT Show 2024, and so pumped to have my man, Byron Rodgers here.
Hey.
Thank you for being here, brother.
Boom, it's an honor, brother.
So now, just so you know, so everyone knows, now that Byron and I are sitting here doing this podcast, there are officially 0 black people downstairs at
Zero
SHOT Show.
black, the whole entire
0
demographics up here.
We're all here right here.
I love it.
Bro, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
It's an honor.
Man, you have been blowing up.
Thank you.
You have had so much growth.
Yeah.
I want to let the people, most of the people watching the 221B Tactical Ambitions podcast, probably already know who you are.
Okay.
But for those who might not, quick background about, before we even got to the executive protection space, give a little bit of your background.
Okay, so Byron Rodgers, it's an honor to be here, bro. You know, we might have to rename this Two Black Guys, One Podcast. Some of y'all might get that. I hope you don't get it. Anyway, so, man, like, you know, I grew up in the Bahamas. I was born in the Bahamas, you know, and at about 5 years old, my mom got custody of me because you said to go way back. Go back before the tactics,
go
right?
Back, yeah.
So I was in the Bahamas till I was 5. I do have a superpower as a black man. I can swim. Okay, which I didn't know. I didn't know African American dudes may not swim. Like they kind of avoided the water. But when I got in the Marine Corps, you know, I learned the hard way because I saw my brothers. We was cool. We was athletic. We was killing it. And then we went to the pool, and my light green Marines were like, "Yo, we're gonna watch Rodgers drown today." And I was like, "What are you talking about, bro? I swim better than you." And they're like, "No, that's impossible." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "Dark green Marines don't swim." I'm like, "What are you talking? Like everybody where I'm from swims." We get to the pool, all my homies, man. It was sad, man. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
All the brothers was drowning, bro.
No.
So, anyways, God bless them. You know. So yeah, man. And then I grew up in Washington State during the school year, and then I go back to the Bahamas for the summer. So after that, played football, 6'8" school, Ironman, all that stuff, and then I went to the Marine Corps. You know, grew up with my dad being in the Bahamas, my mom being in the U.S., raised in a Christian household. Really didn't want anything to do with religion. Thank God I was able to establish a relationship with my Heavenly Father. So that's always been super real to me, and it's been a superpower.
Amen.
An absolute superpower. It's definitely most of the reason I'm here. Joined the Marine Corps, you know, for the infantry, 3-1 Lima Company Weapons Platoon. 0408 for all the trolls. Go ahead and do your research and find me out there. You know, God bless them. I've learned the hard way, man. They're like, woo, you know. So you got to fly the colors whenever we get up here. But balls of the Corps. So yeah, man. And then I went to war a couple times. Pops didn't like that I was going to the Marine Corps. Dangled me off the balcony on my way out. He was like, he just didn't like. He didn't want me to. I had to steal my passport from my mom. Dad was dangling me off the balcony after my high school graduation. And I remember I just relaxed. And my dad is like a monster, man. Like I still might not be able to fight him. Like I still might have to shoot him.
Yeah.
He got shot. Yeah, he's one of those. He got shot at point blank range with a shotgun and survived. What? Okay, so this dude, anyways, he's like a Tony Montana and a Donald Trump mix and a big Caribbean business guy. Like it's awesome. So I just relaxed, and he's like, "Why are you relaxed?" I was like, "Because either you're going to drop me off the balcony or I'm going to join the Marines." And he said, "Okay, I respect your decision. You're a grown man." But then he said, "Don't die." And I said, "I'll do my best. Pray for me." That came back to me later on when I caught my 5th and final IED. Had an out-of-body experience. I saw his face was one of the things that got me out of there, other than praying for another chance at life.
Oh, shit.
And then, man. And then I blink. Getting out of the Marine Corps. Wait, real quick. Is this recording already? Is it
okay, cool. Yeah.
Then I blink. I'm getting out of the Marine Corps. I'm afraid, you know, because I'm like, all right, cool. Like I can hold a gun. I've done these things, but everyone told me to join the Marine Corps and learn a trade. Okay. And I was like, I want to go to war. You know, I believed I was a warrior from a young age. And then I was like, what am I going to do? So I guess I'll be a cop, or maybe I'll do some mercenary stuff. Maybe I'll catch up with Triple Canopy, Dying Corps, Blackwater, one of those guys. And I was praying, and the Lord told me, he said, go to this bar, go to Hennessy's, become a bouncer. You're going to become a bodyguard. You're going to travel the world. And so I walk out of the room. I tell my girlfriend at the time, I say, hey, I know what I'm going to do. And she was like, what? I was like, I know everything's going to be okay. I know what I'm going to do. Everything's good, you know? And she's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to go be a bouncer. Then I'm going to be a bodyguard and travel the world. And she just laughed at me and said, you can't be a bouncer, you know, which I get, because for her it was not good, and it was just as bad for her. She thought it was going to be, you know.
Yeah.
God bless her. And I just said, hey, look, I know this voice. I know it told me to do this. And all I ask is that when it happens, this is like super Jesus-y. I wasn't trying to be Jesus-y. I was like, when it happens, exactly like I've said it, all I ask is that you believe. And dude, I went there. About 3 months in, I'm busting some tables. I see some dudes. I hear them having a conversation, and they're like, have him do it. And I'm like, what's up? What do you guys need? And they're like, you're a Marine? I'm like, yeah. You have combat experience? It's my boy Luke Agajanian, and he's actually downstairs. He's like, you're a Marine? You got combat experience? I'm like, yep. He's like, go and get these 2 permits. Give me a call in 2 weeks. I'll show you how to make a lot more money doing what you're doing. I blink. I'm on Rodeo Drive in the back of a Bentley doing my first job interview. I end up on one of the most highly traveled details in the United States. We hit 60 some countries that first year. I stayed on 60. Yeah, bro. We were in the sky. We added up the hours. It was like 2.5 weeks. And we would come back, go to the dry cleaners and like hold up the dry cleaners and be like, yo, stop what you're doing. We'll pay you whatever it is. We need our suits in like an hour. We're taking off again. like straight up, bro. And I didn't get no sky miles out of it though, because it was all on privates. I'm still kind of bitter about that. I would be established. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you'd have the
I would
status.
be established,
You'd have
bro.
the status.
You know, but that was how I got into this game, you know, and then I wanted to live a normal life. So I rode like that for 7 years. That's like getting recruited from flag football and put in the NFL, you know?
Yeah.
And then I rode like that for about 7 years. And then I was like, look, you know, some things, you know, I would say there's a PTSD story in there. I wrote a book about it called Finding Meaning After the Military. And I just realized I needed to change my life, and I wanted to go into business for myself. I went down to Florida, rebuilt my career from bouncing again a second time. And then, yeah, man, came back to Cali, launched my company. And then, you know, everything else started to just roll. That's when I started the podcast. That's when I started my executive protection school, getting other veterans into the game. And then finally, I started my final company, not final, but the last one, which was Protector Nation, where we teach, you know, we want to make the world a safer place by helping good people to be more dangerous, right? Willing, capable, and prepared. So, you know, it's awesome. It's an awesome journey. You know, we have a few, you know, social media platforms. We educate people online. We educate people in person for the industry and to serve the world. I believe my mission is seriously to be a protector, but to multiply protectors in the world. So I believe protectors are the white blood cells in the body of humanity. And so the more protectors we have, the safer the world is. And so I attack that problem in multiple ways with all the brands and businesses that I have. So when you say protector, are you talking about the average like man who, you know, has a wife and a couple of kids and, you know, is supposed to be the protector? I know things are getting a little crazy these days. That if you say a man's role is to protect his family, people might like cancel you. But, you know, let's just talk real. Are you talking about that role, or are you talking about people who are doing it professionally? Because I know that I want to get into this. You've started this incredible thing called the Protector Summit. Protector Symposium. The symposium. Yes. And I talked to some people who were there, who spoke there, and I want to get into that. Heck yeah. A little bit later. But are we talking about people who are doing executive protection, or are we talking about people who they're the executive protector of their family? Yeah. I'm like, who are you marketing? Who are you targeting? Yeah, it's actually a nightmare, to be completely honest with you. The marketing aspect of what I do, my teams are always like, who's your ideal avatar? Who's your avatar? And it's like such an important question to define in your marketing strategy, like who are you aiming at? But my brands are aimed at anyone with a protection DNA. Anybody who's like, you know, you're that person who wouldn't let your friend get picked on at school. You're that person. They can mess with you, but they can't mess with your people. Yeah. You know, and then also I want to face the reality that if you're an adult and you have people dependent on you, you are the protector. You are it. Mom, you're it. Yeah. Dad, you're it. Grandma, grandpa, even sometimes big brother and sister. And so with the Protector Nation specifically, that's the everyone facing brand.
Okay.
Some of the most rewarding things is when we get done training and I have, we get done with the Protector Symposium and I have a 110-pound mom come up to me and she's like, this changed my life. And I feel so empowered. I feel awesome for having gone through this.
Yeah.
And then I have some dude who can't tell me his background, come up and be like, yo, bro, this was solid. I learned a lot. So we're all over the spectrum because the reality is like right now I'm in a hotel with you, people that are dependent on me are the protectors,
Yeah.
and so for every meat eating, God fearing or not savage man out there that can protect himself, who's trained his whole life to be a competent protector, like we all should be, right? But for every one of those, there's a family, and that family, we can get them skills, and so much of those skills are soft skills, man. And people don't realize the strength in behavioral profiling and just how to live a safe pattern of life, how to do an emergency management plan for your family and your house, how to set up the things that are necessary so that your house is a hard target, so when the enemy's in his hostile planning cycle, he's like, not that chick, look at what she's got going on, or not that house, look at what they have going on, or understanding context, where you're going, tactical positioning, where you are in the environment, having a rolling risk assessment and having a plan so that you avoid 80% of it.
Yeah.
And then if you're in that other 10% where it might about to have been happen, you were able to read the environment and leave.
Yeah.
And if you're in that last 10%, 5%, then maybe you have some skills that'll give you a tactical advantage.
When you're looking at, let's say,
so we're aimed at everybody.
When you look at, and I love that you're not excluding anyone.
Exactly.
Because it's almost like we're all protectors, or except children.
Well, no one's hunting me and you,
Yeah.
and, like not generally, not unless we're at work, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, I really have a heart. I got 5 sisters, and like that's how a lot of my content actually started. Is because I'd be like, don't sit in your car and send a text message, get your car moving. And they'd be like, you're the security guy. You're the, like that dad, brother, like they don't take me seriously. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to start doing tactical protection reviews. I'm going to show you what happens in real time, real violence.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to walk, and then I'm going to give you the information I would normally give you, but after I've microdosed you with trauma. So you see what actually really happened to somebody who thought it could never happen to them, just like you. And maybe we can turn this into a learning experience. And so that's been one of my passions is those who aren't as good at protecting themselves. You teach a kid behavioral profiling and situational awareness, they are good at that one martial art, which is my favorite, faster than you foo. You know what I'm saying? Let's give them some instincts.
Yeah. Look, make sure that they're always reading the world.
Yeah.
And like you said, the little things about being cognizant of sitting in your car. A lot of people talk about walking to your car. Be mindful, be looking around, be scanning.
Yeah.
But I often see people who not only are they just kind of like doing this as they're walking to their car, then they get in their car and then they're like this in their car.
With the doors unlocked half the time, and I'm just like,
man, what is going on?
You're in a coffin, like, stop.
People don't know.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on something, and I want to get your input on it. I've never spoken, although, we speak. We've never spoken about this. I feel like there has been an overwhelming shift when it comes to men in our society and the role they play.
Let's go.
Men are just fucking weak these days.
Get them. Yeah.
It's so, I used to say it's sad, but now I feel like it's scary.
Yes.
Because old school thinking.
Yeah.
Men are there as the protectors of their family.
Yep.
We get a lot of people now, 221 Be Tactical. They're calling, I need armor for my child's backpack. I need body armor for my kid.
Yeah.
I want a home defense kit. And we do all that. That's fine. And a lot of the wives the moms
they're about it.
They're all about it. They're like, hey, let's do it. But when it comes to being a protector of the family and being a man to also just stand up when you see things socially happening, how many videos have we seen where something terrible is happening and you see grown men not only not helping, but videotaping?
Yep.
So Why do you think how has this shift occurred? Because when we grew up, that's not how men were. Right? And I didn't have a dad growing up. It sounds like you have a very powerful dad.
But no, he wasn't there either.
But
my dad was in the Bahamas. I was in Washington most of the time with mom.
So you were in a similar situation. But at least the men around me that I knew, friends, fathers, coaches, things like that, they were real men. They were strong men. They were protectors. They were, they were guardians. And it's almost like today, if you even talk about supporting such a thing, you're some lunatic.
Right? You're looked at it as a toxic masculine dude. But
how do we get here? As a protector, and as someone that people look to in our space as one of the gurus.
Thank you.
When it comes to protection, you're highly regarded.
Thank you.
Why do we have so many weak men who are not protection minded?
Right. I think it's a very important and timely question. And also, just a few things I'd like to say as I kind of set the table, as I make the sandwich right quick, is the quality of a society is dictated by the quality of its men. What goes and what does not go is dictated by the quality of the men. There's no time in history, maybe there is, maybe you'll correct me, where the women were like, we're not gonna take it, and storm the Capitol with their whatever they were using at the time. That's not what happens. What happens is men either allow evil or whatever it is, or they say, hey dude, we're not doing this and we're gonna change something. The reason your women and children right now are not getting murdered and raped in the streets and they can live their lives in that order, in the streets right now, and they can live their lives is because men are on speed dial ready to do violence on their behalf.
100%.
It's the only reason that, the homies are not just doing whatever the homies want to be doing. And so when I look at society and I see what I think can be very accurately depicted as the decay of Western society, and the things that are being allowed in our schools and all these things, when I look at how they are actually happening, I look at men and I say it's because we're not taking our rightful places, saying, no, you're not coming into my house. I don't care who you have sex with. That's your business. But you don't talk to my kid about it.
Yeah.
You don't need to talk to any kids about it.
Right.
Take that crap out of school or else, right? Because violence is a currency and the ultimate currency is manpower, right? That's what the forces of good and evil are actually both fighting over. God said, let man have dominion in this planet. People are over here running around. How could God let, no. When evil is stopped, it's not because angels kick in the windows and stop that chick from being raped who's being raped right now while we're having this conversation. It's because some men were competent, they figured it out, they kicked the door in, and good men took action. And that's what we're missing. And there's a very specific and deliberate, I think there's a pool of reasons around that. And I think it's been a very deliberate demasculinization. I think honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I started to realize this shift, man, and this might upset some people. For me, I realized the shift when I was young, when I started hearing some of these R&B songs, bro. And these dudes were just like, ooh, baby, I love you. It was just so, I was like, bro, stop it. And all the girls like it, so then the dudes try to play it, And I remember being like, no, this is dishonoring. Dude, be a man and you'll be able to attract women, become a place of safety, provision, protection, and contribution, and that's what masculinity really truly is. It's one of the highest calls of service. If someone comes in this room right now, me and you are going to do the best we can or die trying to protect everybody here.
1000%.
And you can identify however you want, but in a man's world, it's all about competence and capability. You will be judged on your competence and capability. And that is a signal that's impossible to fake. And that's what women and children and everyone are attracted to. But I think those that seek to subdue us and those that seek to rule over us have launched a campaign of social engineering in order to water us down. And it's not just a campaign in the media or social media or in the school system or by breaking down the family unit so that males are raised by females. And so a byproduct of that is you got all these dudes out here, and they process their emotions like women, just because it's the only thing they've seen.
Yeah.
They were raised by their mom, and they didn't have anyone else to help. They literally watched how she processes her emotions, and they're just like, okay, then they had a female teacher that was in charge of them, and then they, and this attack isn't just in the socialist sphere, though. I started to realize too with Hollywood, they killed Wolverine, bro, and they replaced her with a little girl Wolverine.
Yeah, I know, bro.
I'm watching Predator. All of a sudden, it's a chick pulling up. Come with me if you want to live.
Right.
They freaking killed Equalizer. They replaced him with Queen Latifah. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do it, bro. I watched the last Matrix and Neo's running around. I'm nothing without Trinity. Like I'm just like, you guys are like, I just want to burn it all down, bro. And I'm sitting here like, I trained my entire life to be a warrior, right? This is the highest act of service in the world. No greater love than this. A man would lay down his life for another. And I talked about that. Like, you have to train to be competent enough to outperform an evil human being, to be able to render that level of service. And then the other part of it is, if you look around this room right now, what do we see? I see water with forever chemicals and BPAs in them. There's estrogen in everything. One of my best friends, his son started ovulating like he got gyno at 14 years old just because they're eating stuff out of boxes with pretty colors on it too much. So there's an attack on that, and I believe that it is because strong, competent men are the number one threat to anyone who wants to subdue us.
Amen.
And that's what all these big money companies, that's what's happening. They want, and if you want to like make it less complicated or less scary, just look at the reality of the world, that this world is now, everything we got was free, bro. Yeah. The idea we make $1 million off of this year is free. The air we're breathing is free. The nutrients, everything, our bodies heal themselves. But the world system is a system of money. So everything's been recreated in the image of money instead of what God gave us, man. You know what I'm saying? And there's a war going on right now between what I believe is the kingdom of heaven and the world system over the earth, which is the Lord's, but we have ownership of it. And we get to choose which one of those kingdoms we want to be a part of. And so now, your doctor's trying to make you a client. He ain't trying to heal you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Your food is designed for money. It's not designed to give you nutrients. You got to eat 4 carrots to get the nutrients you used to get from 1 carrot back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything around you is not really designed to make you better. It's designed to turn a profit. There's poisons in our food, poisons in our water. And so now it's you have to look at the world you live in as a place that's designed to make you a client, to shear the sheep, and to weaken you so that you're more dependent, right? And masculinity is about going from being a dependent to being dependable, to being the sun in an ecosystem of human beings. Because we're the life givers, man. People talk about women, the life givers. Women carry life. They nurture life. They also contribute to the giving of life. But it starts with men. Yeah. We plant the seed, man. Yeah. And I think it's time for men to realize that it starts and it ends with us. Everyone plays a role, equal in glory, different in function. But gentlemen, what goes and what does not go has everything to do with what men allow and what men are willing to die to stop allowing to happen. I'm a long answer guy. I'm sorry. No, just cut me out. Give me a hand and arm signal.
I love it. I love it because, I've been thinking and in certain rooms saying what you've been saying for quite some time now.
Outstanding.
I've noticed this.
Yeah.
And I think I am maybe a little bit hypersensitive to it because of my upbringing and my background, because I had to seek that out from others. Yeah. So it wasn't just there. It wasn't there when I woke up in the morning.
Right.
I had to go seek that out and learn it from others.
Yeah.
So now when I see the absence of it and I see the erosion of it, it's more noticeable to me.
And I think, too, you said something that was amazing. You said it's scary. Because for me too, in the beginning I was like, man, this is sad. But the reality is it's scary, because the amount of men we have, that's the amount of rounds we have in the chamber to protect what we have in this society and in this culture.
Yeah.
I was working out at a gym in Orange County. I used to live in Orange County. Now I live out in the country. So I'm sitting in Orange County, and in Orange County, I'm the baddest dude in the gym. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking around. I'm like a 9 or 10. I'm the hardest dude, strongest dude. It was tight. It felt good. But it also was like, yo, if anything happens in this gym, I'm it. You know what I'm saying? Like these dudes, Like these pretty cats doing their like everything but lifting weights and the, like everything they could do other than like jack and steel.
Yeah.
Like God bless them. Like everything that, and I'm looking around, I'm like, no, they're basically women and children here and me, you know?
Yeah.
And then I move out to the country, bro, and I'm like by the base, I go back in the jet, go in the gym. I'm like a 6, dog. Like I'm like on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm like, okay, well, it's time to hit the weights hard again, you know what I'm saying? But I feel great. I feel so safe because if anyone walks in this gym and tries something, everybody, there's like 12 other juggernauts they got to get through before me.
Yeah.
That guy's going to have a say. That guy's going to have a say. That guy could beat you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, cool. Like, as long as all these dudes are on the same team, don't walk into this room, homie.
Yeah.
So that's what's beautiful about having healthy, masculine men, especially that are willing to be of service. Because that's what we're created for, man.
What you just said is so true. And it reminds me of a story. I was at an event and was there with friends and their kids, and there were some mainly moms, but there was a handful of dads.
Yeah, God bless them.
I was just there, just supporting.
Yeah,
and it was a funny room, and where I'm living, it's you may know some of the people that live there with me, but anyway, it's mainly white people.
Yeah,
and so maybe 3 minutes after we got there.
Yeah,
it's a busy place. It's a kids sporting event, whatever. This guy comes up to me, and he's like, man,
yeah, looking at your chest and your arms, like, well,
he's like, oh, you look like you work out. I said, yeah. He's like, I know who I'm coming to if anything happens in here today.
Yeah, bro.
And I'm
this is like an ultra feminine comment, bro.
Right? And I'm like, did you just walk up to another man?
Right?
And essentially say, hey, if some shit goes down,
I'm gonna hide behind you. It's just like, you're not going to Valhalla, bro. Like,
what is happening? And this was a grown-ass man.
Literally, homie.
He was a grown-ass man with his wife.
Right.
Like, 3 feet next to him.
Oh, man.
And his kids on the field.
And no shame.
No shame. He said, I know who I'm coming up to. Something's wrong here today. I was like, what did you just say?
Yeah, man.
Like it was like a joke.
Yeah.
But he wasn't joking.
Like you literally should be losing sleep tonight over what you just said, bro.
Bro, how are you?
Dude.
Like, when I walk in a certain situation, I'm looking around and I'm looking for the dude who I'm like, that guy too. If it goes down,
we're gonna link shields. Me and this guy are linking shields.
We're linking
and we're getting to work.
And that's it. I'm looking for that dude.
Yeah.
In years past, I could always pinpoint at least 1 or 2 other dudes like that.
Yep.
That I'm like, that guy.
And there's a little nod, there's a little acknowledgement.
Boom. That's it. Bro, as the years have gone on,
you feel naked, bro. Yeah,
I know.
You're like, yeah, bro. And you're like, it's me, bro.
It's me.
In this whole plane, it's me right now. Yeah, dog. And it's like, well, I've been training. God is good.
Right.
I'm gonna do what I can. No, it's real. It's like you feel naked, bro.
Right.
Like if there's 6 of them, I guess I'm gonna have to die, but I ain't gonna be a pussy. Right?
No.
And that's the truth, man. And I hate it. And it tormented me, especially when I got out of the Marine Corps. I would look around and just be like, because when you get out of the military, you are in some hard. Yeah. And I remember, and I still, especially when I was in Orange County or a lot of places I go in, and I see that, and I'm just like, and it's just like these cats don't know, like they don't realize how much of a problem this is, and it's not okay.
No.
I don't care what your mommy told you, right? And it's a really scary state to be in because this is what I know, man. I know that there's cats overseas right now that are hungry. And I know that they have good reasons to say death to America. I've faced them, and I understand. And I've had conversations with people and been like, golly, man, I get why you're mad. And I know that there have been 10 million, the last number I heard from the Border Patrol boys, 10 million unknown individuals that they can track came in, right? And I know that the world's getting more saucy. Military age males. I was at the border. I was there, in Yuma a few months ago, and like 20% of them were female. Like it was military age males from over 100 different countries just pouring in. To me, that's an invasion. And I'm not against immigrants. I come from a partially immigrant family, but what's happening right now is not that. And these dudes in America who are not hungry, who are not training, who are not ready, who say things like that, and I get the same type of comments, like we are the low-hanging fruit in terms of target right now.
Yeah.
And that scares me. And that's why I've made it my mission, man. It's just multiply protectors in this game.
Yeah.
And and then the other thing that breaks my heart is when I see women, you know, that have had to step into a masculine role because their guy's not doing it.
Yeah.
Or not, like, just not doing it for whatever the reason is. For men, there are no excuses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to make excuses for you. Bruh, get to work, right? And you can get to work anytime, no matter where you are in your life cycle. You know, it's just not like a window. Like if you wake up and you're like, dude, I'm not where I need to be, boom, it's time to raise the standard, you know? But I feel bad for women. They're like, my guy's just not like, you know, and I'm just like, it's a quality problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it all the time, and you are seeing people are talking about how the age where people are getting married, is getting higher and higher.
Yeah,
people aren't nearly having children at the same rate, right?
Yep.
But I can almost understand from the woman's standpoint when women say there are no good men out there, like there are no real men out there. Yeah. I used to hear women say that. I'm like, man, what are they talking about?
Yeah, like maybe, are you okay?
Yeah,
like, are you just wounded or like, you know what I mean?
What's up with you? And then now I'm starting to see and I'm starting to understand what they're looking for is safety.
Yeah.
Protection, a protector.
Yeah, provision and protection.
You know, in this day and age where, because of the economy and things that are happening, I think most women understand that they may have to work and be some kind of provider as well. Contribute. And I know a lot of women who are okay with that.
Right.
They'll go to work. I know a lot of women who are okay with making more than their spouse.
Right.
But they want to feel safe and protected when it comes to their man.
100%.
And if they don't feel that, and they got a guy who doesn't know how to fight, doesn't know how to shoot, doesn't know how to, is not in shape.
Yeah.
You know, people are glorifying the dad bod. Now we're glorifying, overweight women on the cover of magazines, and
which failed, by the way. Victoria's Secret had to go back to putting actual healthy, beautiful women on the thing.
Right, but you're looking at that and you say, when did this shift occur?
Yeah, man.
And it didn't happen overnight.
It didn't happen overnight.
It's been the slow drip.
100%.
It's been the slow drip. It's been the slow drip. And now it's to the point where you have craziness happening.
Yeah.
And it kind of became normalized over time. And like you said, it's to that point now where you walk onto an airplane.
Yeah, a whole airplane. You're looking and you're like,
I was flying out here. I'm at the terminal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always looking around before we board. I'm at the gate.
Yeah.
I'm looking around. I'm like, no.
Maybe there's one or two. Or there's an old guy that is going to go. You know what I mean? Like, he may not have a lot of gas in the tank, but he's going to get the rest of the gas he got.
He would go with it if it went down.
Yeah, old school. I love old school, man. I'm proudly part of the old school.
Man, so, but I said this in a talk I had earlier. It didn't happen overnight.
It didn't happen.
People are like, how did we get here? And there's so many things happening today that in 10 years, people are going to say, how did we get here? Like 10 million people coming across an unsecured border.
Right.
So 10 years from now, people are going to be like, how did this happen? How did we get here?
And like in like the yesteryear, like when we were young, like, you couldn't just march down the street and say, we're coming for your kids during a sex parade.
Bro.
Like, you could, if you got called, like, gay or something in school, you had to fight somebody.
Yeah.
Like you had to fight. Like, it was like, yo, mama, and being called gay was it's like, we're just not doing this right now.
Immediately
like, I had no choice. I had to fight this dude. So that's how quick, but that shows you, like what it used to be like versus what it's like now. And like, I don't know, I feel like there's more chaos now than there used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
And so it's because dad's not home. It's because the guys that hold the standard have been castrated at such a high volume.
Yeah.
And so guys like us, I was getting my master's in psychology and I'm sitting there in class. And I shut the class down, bro. Yeah. So we're sitting here and they're talking about masculinity. And I'm just, and I was already like, this is going to be tough. to sit through. And I'm in psychology, so the cool thing was it's all females. All females, female teacher. I'm in their world, and they're talking about masculinity. And I'm sitting there, God bless them, and they had this list up on the board, and it was like all these traits of toxic masculinity. And they were literally teaching us that masculinity was toxic without coming out and saying it and calling it toxic masculinity. So the traits were like normal masculine traits mixed in with toxic traits. And I believe there's just toxic humans. There's toxic femininity, toxic masculinity, because people can be toxic or they can be healthy, you know? And so I'm sitting there and I just, by the grace of God, sit through most of it. And then at the end, I was just like, hey, you know, I raised my hand and I was like, I just can't get down with this. And I was like, the issue I have is that masculinity is self-policing. You're walking me through all these traits. And the reality is a healthy male would crush a dude with this half of the traits you're talking about. These traits right here, they don't exist in the same male. You know what I'm saying? Like a healthy dude, like right now, if we walked outside and a dude was beating a chick, like, and there were healthy men around, that dude would get wrecked.
Yeah, 100%.
He would get shoved into a garbage can and he would get taken to law enforcement, right? And I've posted many videos of things like that. But there's no healthy men. There's less healthy men. So evil is able to happen out in broad daylight. I was like, and the other thing is, and the funny thing about masculinity is, healthy masculinity really helps femininity blossom. You know, and so I'm talking about masculinity and I'm championing masculinity, and I end up saying, and the other thing that makes me upset about this is, tomorrow, are we going to have a class on toxic femininity? And the teacher, was like, she was like, we need to go on a 5-minute break. Now, while all this is happening, my whole class of all these chicks are watching me walk into the classroom every single day. Sit down, I got 3-course meals every single day. You know what I'm saying? Opening up my stuff, you know what I'm saying? Steaks, vegetables, all the stuff, boom. Like home cooked meal every single day. Walk over to the microwave, listening to the teacher, heating up my food, you know what I'm saying? Coming back, smelling up the whole classroom, right?
Don't care.
So like if there is like, this is a hard pattern, this is a hard signal to fake. All the women instantly understand, like, this guy's got a happy wife at home.
Yeah.
He's a masculine dude and he's not buying any of this stuff. And so what ended up happening was there were multiple times when I stood up and just said, nah, I just don't know about this. And I think healthy masculinity is this, and I think healthy masculinity allows femininity to really blossom in a safe space where she can be vulnerable and she can be protected and she can like feel like supported. And I just told him, I was like, my wife, we believe in traditional roles. My job is to take territory and take territory for the family, and she supports that, and she makes sure our values are upheld at home. And everything I give her, she multiplies and she nurtures. I give her a seed, she gives me a baby. I give her a house, she makes it a home, right? And this is how the reality of our world works. And she's happy. You ain't never seen me come in here with no food. You know what I mean? And dude, you should have seen the looks on those girls' faces, man. They were like. And I was like, you want to work? You want to fight? You want to struggle your whole life like we have to? Or would you like to have a champion out there doing all that in service for you? And all you got to do is keep him optimized and support that effort, you know?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place to be.
And it's in my mind, call me crazy, a traditional role that has been proven over time.
100%.
It has been proven over centuries to benefit.
Yep.
It benefits the unit. It benefits the offspring.
Yes.
You know,
largely, hugely.
Look at the rate of incarceration for young black men with a dad in the house and no dad in the house.
Yeah.
It goes
80% of the people.
It goes from single digits with the father in the house to almost like 90% with no father in the house, which
100%.
is insane. That stat alone should end the story.
100%.
You know?
Absolutely. No, man. And you know, it's, I believe that, and the reality is, like, we serve each other, but in different ways. You know, I'm out there putting in hours. I'm behind my computer building businesses. I'm working hard. Yeah. You know, the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. I'm trying to be a good man, you know what I'm saying? And she's serving me, you know, with all the different things she's doing. And we're both in service, and that's what's so beautiful about it. Yeah. And that's what makes yielding and submitting and all these things such such an honor. I submit and I yield to my Heavenly Father. That's what makes me safe.
Yeah.
That's what gives me the power to do things, the power to get into the executive protection industry from being a bouncer, the power to stay alive in Iraq in a lot of different instances. I submit to him and I feel safe. He fights my battles for me. He lets me know what the next idea is that's going to make $1 million, right?
Yeah.
And so I have the cheat code on when to zig, when to zag. I feel protected. I feel empowered to go out and fight. This is the way your wife should feel as she follows you, But, my submission to my Heavenly Father is what makes me a good enough guy to be worth following at the same time. Because let me tell you, if Byron's in charge of Byron, you know what I'm saying? I'll mess this whole thing up I'll mess this whole thing up by dinner, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's not about me being perfect or great or amazing. I think it has a lot to do with who you choose to submit to and who you choose to serve. That's going to make you a man that's worth listening to.
Yeah.
Or submitting to.
Yeah.
Or a safe man.
Yeah, absolutely. When we talk about home protection, which a lot of our 221B customers are now concerned about, they're seeing crime spike. They're all over the place. They're worried, right? And we're seeing people from all across the country, all walks of life, all income levels, all
like you're not safe in your gated community. They actually will come to they know about your gated community.
Right. Yeah. That might actually be where they're targeted.
Right.
They're not going to say, oh, that's a gated community. Let's just go to the next one.
When you post your photo on the beach in wherever you're vacationing with your little leg photo and you hashtag Cancun, literally there's dudes in your state that are on that hashtag right now that are going to your house.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how it works. I get a lot of clients that way.
So what are some of the key elements that people need to be mindful of when it comes to creating some sort of safe haven in their home? We're putting together a tactical, it's actually a non-tactical, untactical kit for the average everyday person.
I love it.
Right? Yeah. There's nothing tactical about this.
Let's demystify a lot of this stuff.
It's like the ready bag for an event at your home or when you're exiting your home in your vehicle for dummies.
I love it.
But what are some of the things they have to be mindful of when it comes to protection in their home?
Yeah.
Because you're coming from a world where when you're working with the people that are hiring you, you need to now do recon of the building that they're going to be going to, the building that they're going to be sleeping at, the transportation routes, everything. You're worried about all that. But for the homeowner, the couple, what are their main concerns? What should they be?
That's awesome, man. This is the good stuff. This is stuff that I like to teach and stuff that I love to consult on. So when you're looking at your house, you're looking at keeping yourself safe or your home safe. Many of the same principles apply, right? So you got to think like the enemy. The enemy is going to be in what we call a hostile planning cycle. So he's going to be like rolling through the neighborhood. And he's going to be looking at all the different houses. And you don't have to be the most impregnable, but you should try to be. But you need to for sure be the least attractive target. When that enemy is at the gas station and he's looking at people and he's trying to decide whom he should devour, right? You need to be one of the people where he's like, nah, not that one, not that one. And there's factors that go into that communicate to your environment. So like, I like to start with the widest concentric ring of security possible, which is your neighborhood. You should know who your neighbors are. You should have a communication plan with your neighbors. Like, hey, if you guys see anything weird, we got this group chat, just put it on the group chat. So now you've multiplied the eyes around your neighborhood, right? You guys see a car here that's not mine or whatever, call me crazy, but I bet you it'll come in handy by the end of the year if we need each other, And also when you're starting to become a protector, you need to understand psychologically that you're going to have to just you'll get crap, like when you're going out with your family and you want to sit in a place where you can see the door, you're going to get some crap oh, Dad, my wife just knows now where to sit us, where I'm going to sit. It's beautiful. Yeah. But it took some training, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I mean that in the most honoring way. But I like to start with a neighborhood, just say, hey, you know what? I just want you guys to know that I've got your back if anything happens, if you need something. And if I see anything weird, I'll always let you guys know. I'm starting a group chat up for the neighborhood, So if you guys see anything, we can say something right here and everyone can be alerted.
You remember Neighborhood Watch?
Yeah, I remember Neighborhood Watch, bro. Everybody on duty, taking turns.
Yeah.
Old man at the end of the drive, end of the freaking cul-de-sac. Sitting out there on his lawn chair, just watching everything on his rocking chair.
What happened to that?
That's back in the glory days, man. That's back in the glory days.
Watch?
100%, bro.
But that's what
with the little signs and everything, bro.
The signs.
That is exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly, man.
So this is almost that 2.0.
100%, man.
We could start a signal conversation.
Yeah, we got the chat. We got the group chats and all that, man. And then you go into like, okay, so if the enemy was rolling through your neighborhood, what's another type of deterrence you could use? Dude, motion sensing lights, floodlights, they're huge. Yeah. Someone looks at your house, the lights should come on. You know what I'm saying? They walk past your house, the lights should come on, And there's a lot of statistics around this that talk about the house that has motion sensing lights doesn't get hit as much. The house that has the sign in the front that says protected by whatever security company doesn't get hit as much. I work with a vendor that supplies AI technology, like AI cameras that are watched by humans, right? And so basically the camera spots an anomaly, it sends the anomaly to the command post where humans are sitting there and they're like, they see the dude and they can now communicate with the guy through the camera. Hey, you in the red shirt, leave the cars alone. The cops are already on their way. No, I see you there. Stop what you're doing. We've already called law enforcement. You have 4 minutes to get off property. So they can start to mess with the enemy. So the next piece is cameras,
Yeah.
At least having a Ring doorbell, at least having any of the doorbell systems that have camera and communication that you can have so you can have some awareness of what's going on outside your home. So I've posted so many videos where someone being able to communicate through their front door with that technology has for sure saved their life.
100%.
100% for sure. So lean into the tech side of things. And then when you start going into the home, there's a lot of statistics that talk about houses with dogs don't get robbed.
Yep.
The
when
tech
I was on the job, I saw it.
Yeah. See, like the tech is good, but realistically, there's really no better alarm system than a dog. And a little dog is the best alarm system. A big dog offers some deterrence value as well, So, having that alarm system. And then come the systems. So in every system, the failure point is the human, So do you have a system for making sure your home is secured and everything is turned on, your security systems and all that before you leave? Before you go to bed. Do it the same exact way every single day so that it becomes, you get the software in your mind and it's just second nature. All right, we're going to leave. I'm going to lock up. Boom, 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 boom. Turn on your apps, turn on your alarm system, and then roll out. So have a system to use all these things. And then we start getting into where we're going to put things. Do you have force multipliers in places where you should have them that you frequent and could probably be working or sitting if something happened, if you had an event?
Yeah.
Do you have medical equipment in places where you might need them as well? If there are force multipliers there should be medical equipment there as well. And we kind of go up from there, man. So there's a lot in emergency management planning for a family, which is one of the things I love doing. Yeah.
I used to remember there was almost I can't remember if it was on TV or commercials, but it was kind of like make a plan in case there was a fire in your house.
Yeah.
Make a plan for your family exit. Hey, we're going to meet down the street by the
cold position. Put some ladders in the kids' room.
Yeah, the collapsible ladders, things like that.
Yeah.
I don't even see that stuff anymore, which is wild. So I know those are all important elements.
Yeah.
Let's switch to the vehicle.
Yeah.
Because people, and I know you do a lot of work in and around vehicles. So for, once again, the average person, the mom, the dad, rolling around with their kids in their SUV.
All day, every day.
Right. They encounter a situation. Of course, rule number one, avoid it if you can.
100%.
But you end up in it.
This one you can't avoid.
You can't avoid, you end up in it, and now you got the mob protesting whatever it is, the flavor of the week.
Yeah.
Right?
Whatever they were programmed to be mad about today.
Right, exactly. And what do?
Yeah.
There's the car starting rocking.
Yep.
And now you have your family inside.
Yeah.
You've seen the women get dragged out of the cars and beaten. What would you do, or what would you tell your wife to do in that situation?
So the reality of this one is that it is a tough question because violence isn't always the answer, as Tim Larkin would say. But when violence is the answer, it's the only answer.
It's usually the only answer.
It's usually the only answer. When you need a parachute pimping. All you need is a parachute. You know what I'm saying? And so In this situation, the reality of vehicles is that when they stop moving, they become coffins.
Yeah.
Okay, so rule number one is never stop your vehicle. If you have to keep rolling nice and slow, roll nice and slow. But write the police report before you pull the trigger, right?
Yeah.
You be as cordial as you can, you be kind, but you have a plan, like General Mattis would say. So if these people are outnumbering you, right, they're becoming violent at a high volume, and you have your women and children in the car, especially if you are women and children, because the disparity of force is going to be so much greater.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be afraid of women because, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you get, you know, like, the disparity of force thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
you know,
it's real.
if you can already in your mind articulate the fact that I feel unsafe, I feel like my life is threatened, and this mob could kill me and my children, and they're being violent, it's time to make sure that vehicle does not stop moving until you're outside of that issue, outside of that contact. And thinking about these things and having conversations like this is so good because people need to address these things psychologically before they happen.
Yeah.
So the reality is, if you got to run people over, you got to run people over.
Yeah.
Those people shouldn't be, if they're being combative and violent towards you and your innocent family, then you're actually in a violent situation. You don't realize it. And you need to make sure that you escape and save your family. If they, you know, they shouldn't have been doing what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? So, and you need to make these decisions ahead of time. I was in a situation in Iraq. I had one of my younger Marines look over me and he's like, you know, Lance Corporal. You know, I've been thinking about what I'm going to do if we get hit by an IED. And I was like, stop, bro. I was like, we're in an AO, an area of operation, where we're dealing with 80% victim-initiated IEDs. And we are the lead vehicle, IED, improvised explosive device, right? A bomb, basically, bombs that would blow us up while we're trying to drive down the street. And I was like, and we're the lead vehicle in all these motorcades. I was like, homie, it's not a matter of if. We will get blown up this deployment. The only if is whether you'll wake up or not. And you need to do mental rehearsal as to what you're going to do. You need to be mentally rehearsing what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do. Eventually it happened. We got blown up. And I'll never forget it, man. I'll never forget it. I'm sitting there, and my little Jundi, that's what we call him. That's Iraq for boy, like my young Marine. My Jundi runs up, and he's like, Lance Corporal. He's like, I thought about what I was going to do, and I did exactly what I wanted to do when it went down. And I was like, perfect. And it's proof, because you need to start to write the programming in your mind, right? And if you feel scared and you can articulate that you're in fear for your life, especially if you're a female or someone who's not very physically potent, or an elderly couple or whatever, let's go. It's game time. You know? And even if you're a dude like me or you and there's 20 people around the car and I got my women and children, I'm sorry, bro. Like, you're not going to put me in a position where you have a tactical advantage over me. That car ain't stopping.
So what the story you just told,
and if the car stops, if they somehow stop the car, you have to get straight through that crowd to cover. That's the other thing. If you do have to, once the car stops, it becomes a coffin. You know, and if you do have to get out of that car, you do not stand around the car. You don't
try to fight.
Are going straight to the next safe location.
I'm gonna try to like slide out of the car and start banging on my own car.
Take my shirt off. Let my tattoos out.
Start banging on my. Hey, get this guy. And then slide out. What you just spoke about, speaking to that young man, kind of sounded like manifestation. Like you want to create the reality, right? You want to think about the reality that you want and create it and live it today as if it's already happened.
100%.
That's something you and I have never spoken about, but I know you speak into large groups of people. When I say manifestation, there's some people, especially in our macho, 5'11" pants.
Everything, I got to taste, touch, and feel everything for it to be real, kind of,
What's your feeling on that?
Dude, my feeling is, I talk a lot about deliberate reality creation, and I said it earlier, it's a reality, man. Like, perception is reality. That's a basic truth that a lot of people understand. And it's not that perception is actually the greater reality. Your perception is the reality you're going to live. One person falls down in a mud puddle. They get mad. They hit the mud puddle. They have a crappy day. They talk about it. And then I fell down this mud puddle this morning. It's the worst day ever. And they literally live a whole entire day in that same frequency of what happened in the morning, right? Another person falls down in a mud puddle. They're like, they laugh and they're like, oh my gosh, go figure, ha ha, whatever. Yeah, and then they're telling their boy, they're joking about it, like, yeah, that fell in this mud puddle, whatever. Like, this is so annoying, but whatever. But they're having fun about it.
Yeah.
And then they have this day where it's like, yeah, like it happened. Like, it's not a big deal, right? I remember when I started down my entrepreneurial journey big time. And I remember like studying self-help and personal development and all the things that like people try to make fun of that actually are based on like sage advice and things that you'll find in the Bible and these higher level principles. And I remember being like, I know how to create, and I told my wife this, I was like, I know how to create my reality. I understand how to do it. Because I read 350 books and I just realized that the patterns, it was the same information again and again and again from everyone, right? And I started to be like, man, and then, you know, it's in the Bible, it's there. And I started to realize that like, and I told her, I was like, I know how to do this, but now I need to do this in real life so that people will believe me and listen to me. Yeah. And so I started to focus on that. And it is literally the reality that you're living right now, you already have manifested. You know what I'm saying? Like, you thought about this job, you went after this job based on what you think about yourself, your own identity, and you have basically gotten everything that you had the power to manifest based on where you're at in that development process. Yeah. And so, you know, what we talk about, what we focus on, if I want to create a brand, a company right now, I know how to do it. I've done it like 9 times. I have to create the image first. I have to write out the mission statement. I'll create the emblem. I'll write out the mission statement. I have the vision, usually that comes from my Heavenly Father. And sometimes not. Sometimes it's my own vision. And sometimes it flops because it's my own vision, right? Yeah. But that's part of the thing. And I learn from every one of those. And then I start working backwards through the equation, and I start to work every single day a little bit, until my lovely wife, you know, like, she used to think I was crazy because I'd be walking around the house in my underwear, and I'd be like, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. Now, I mean, you know, I ain't got no money, I just got the money. And, you know, and she's like, this dude's crazy, you know. But now we wake up, we're in a home, and it just doesn't even, it's like a dream every single day, right? Man. It's so beautiful, and God is so good. And now when I say it, she's like, he's crazy, but all of this is going to happen. Like, and I just try to be like, God, if I say it, it's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to be like Big G, but we're down here. You have ownership of your life. Yeah. You are the Lord of your life. That word means ownership. You are little G for this. Can't nobody take what they can put you in jail and strip you butt naked, and you still get to decide some stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's self-made, but only the successful want to admit it.
You know, it's funny because a lot of people forget when you just said that, and some people might hear what you just said and be like, man, that's really high concept of him. That's really high. I mean, you are a God. Yeah. But a lot of people forget that Jesus said when he did all these things that people blew people's minds, healing people, you know, creating bread, and he said, these things I do, you'll do greater.
Exactly, and greater things. And he said, have I not told you that you are God's? Yes. David said it in Psalms, and he said it again in the Gospels.
Right. So so I've heard people say what you just said before. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. But most people hear that and they're like, man, who's that guy think he is? Well, that's who we are.
That's who we are.
That's the power we yield. Yep. And the only reason we're not creating those things or doing those things is because our undying belief that we can't.
That we can't. And we're in a consumer-driven, the world system, the Earth's system, is constantly telling you that you're not good enough. You need a hotter chick. You need a faster car. You need deodorant that attracts women. You need to brush your teeth with this stuff to make your teeth whiter. Like, they're constantly telling you they don't want you to realize that what happens in your world, you're the common denominator in every equation in your life, bro. Like, they don't want you to realize your power. Everything that you need is free. Like, literally, you could leave society and start planting food and learn how to, you can thrive, right? Like, if you, $1 million idea, it was all free. And if you realize that your health, your body heals itself. Like the amount of love that went into creating this thing that we get to do, you know, they want you to feel like you need to come here and be in a hotel room and play the games and all that stuff to feel valuable, right? And if you really start to realize what God's given you and you really start to see the love, and that's what happened when I got blown up, is I realized the gift and the miracle that this life is. And I was so sad that I was like 18, 19, and I was like, and it was over, you know, and when I realized that, and that's why I prayed, and I was just like, Father, if I get another chance, I may never be everything you called me to be, but if you send me back, I said it just like this, I will go so ham. I was like, I will go so hard at living this life to its fullest and doing the best I can. And then I got back in my body, and then I got up and went to work. But that's the thing, and that's one of the big secrets of life, man, is we are little G. And I believe that my job as a man, and my aspirations to be a man of God, I believe that my job is for people to look at me and for them to see the glory of who sent me. Yeah. You know, I want them to be like, man, like I want those who are supposed to follow me and are supposed to believe in me to be like, man, I can't be like dad. Like dad set the bar high. Like I want my daughter to say what I heard my sister say about my dad.
Yeah.
Like I can't bring you home to my dad. Like cool pickup line, bro. My dad, like my dad will kill it. Like I can't bring you home to my. What do you think my dad will do to me if I bring you home? Like I need my wife and my guys on my teams to look at me and be like, man, like that's a man. You know, they should see the glory of God in us, right? And the way I can bless my children and bless my family and bless my, my teammates and employees, that is glory to me. Yeah. Through God. Like it's to my glory that my guys live good and that they have opportunities. It's to our glory that our children live good and that our women live good. It's to our glory that our culture is secure and strong and healthy and safe and thriving. It's to all the men's glory. Yeah. And right now, we're not experiencing a lot of that glory because a lot of us haven't made those sacrifices to get there. And the reality is those sacrifices need to be made in here first. Yeah, 100%. When I look at you, I see your standards. You know what I'm saying? And so when these dudes, like, we're not all there and we may never all be perfect and stuff, but when you need, this whole thing starts when a dude looks in the mirror and he accepts being lesser on these physical, mental, and spiritual development spectrums. And when he accepts less, and then he has no rightful influence over other people to challenge them to get better, to do better, to be higher, because he's not doing it for himself. It becomes a joke and it doesn't work when you open your mouth.
And we're seeing it. We're seeing it a lot today with social media. We're seeing all these guys that are putting all this stuff out there and even kind of teaching people to do stuff.
Trying.
And you're like, this dude has not even done it himself.
Yeah, man.
And then on the opposite, you see someone who's talking about, how to be, ultra wealthy and this and that. But you're looking at the rest of their lives
and it's garbage.
Yeah, and they're drinking a lot, they're eating crap food, they're not in the ideal shape. And you're saying, okay, so you're really good at money. Yep. But you're not taking care of your body. Yeah. Or you're really good with your body and you got this like 6-pack and all this stuff, but you're broke.
But you're
broke. You don't got, you got 2 nickels to rub together. Yeah. So I see there's an overwhelming amount of that, and you have people following, especially young people.
Yeah, because they're so impressionable.
They're looking at these people and they're like, man, look at this. Human beings are wired for status, not success.
That's a powerful statement,
right?
I need to say that again, guys. So, human beings are wired for status, not success. Yeah. Probably because they get the two mixed up,
right? So that's through generations and generations. Go back as far as you want. Your status, your apparent status, is what got you the women that you could bear the better children and brought the more opportunities and goods and whatever to you. Yeah. It was your the appearance of status. Wow. So having the appearance of status, human beings inherently are more concerned with that than the actual what's in the bank account.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's not what people see.
And does your wife respect you?
Right.
Do your kids honor you?
Right. I tell people all the time, I tell young men all the time, I say, listen, the measure of a man is the size of the smile on his lady's face next to him.
It's your first, it's your first enterprise.
Right. So, like, how are you doing with that? Yeah. How are you doing with that?
Mm-hmm. And I think, too, really winning, we're at SHOT Show, right? Super ultra physical type of event, you know? Yeah. And I'm hoping the world's waking up to the reality that you can have it pegged in one area. We're spirit, soul, and we're spirit, soul, and body. We're triune beings. I am a body. My body gives me earth consciousness. What I have to work with and walk through the world with is my body. I use my body. We'll have to fight if someone comes in here, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, but my soul, my mind, will, and emotions, that gives me self-consciousness.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where the battle's fought. That's where the battle for good and evil and everything else is fought, in that soulish realm. My spirit gives me God consciousness, right? And even in all the different warrior cultures, you go back to the beginning of the world, you see that they have some spiritual discipline.
Yes.
You see that they have something where they're like, yo, this is like the samurai. There's spiritual stuff in all the warrior cultures laced in there. And so it's definitely apparent, you know, that to be a well-rounded and healthy human, especially a man, you have to have that spiritual fitness, the physical fitness, and you have to sharpen your mind, will, and your emotions, your soul. And I think we have such a society that's been so consumer-driven, superficial, all that stuff, that people are starting to see through a lot of that. They're starting to be like, okay, cool, like that dude's, you know, jacked and tan, but like, I don't really want that. You know what I mean? Like, people are starting to see through a lot of these things and realize that if you're not fit, spirit, soul, and body, like you're hollow. Yeah. And we see it back on the masculinity thing, you know. Sometimes we see it when I feel like when I'm walking the streets, man, when I walk in my gym in Orange County, or I walk the streets in Orange County, California, dudes can't even look me in the eyes. Yeah. And it really, man, it bugs me, man. Because I feel this mix of disgust and compassion. Like, I'm like, bro, like, I just want to pay you respect. You know what I mean? And they can't look at me because they're scared and they're so socially uncomfortable and they're underdeveloped, you know? And so they're like, you know, they're just like, you know, they'll maybe try to act big and like not look at me, you know what I'm saying? Or like look all around, but like like they're too serious. And I'm just like, yo, if you were a female, like, I get it, right? Like, you don't want to get hit on or something. Or you're just a chick, it doesn't matter. But like, if you're a dude, like, awareness is your responsibility, right? Yeah. And this isn't about being a tough guy. Respect is currency for us, you know what I'm saying? So this is about whether you're big, small, little, whatever it is, look another man in the eyes, give him a nod, say what's up, say good morning, say good evening, whatever it is, it's a respect thing. It lets me know that you have some honor in you, that you have some self-respect in you, that you're at least willing to show up and be seen and be present, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you walk by me and you don't do that, like, I can't trust you now. Like, it elicits a physiological response from most masculine men. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason for that. You were talking about walking in, look, case in the room. Like, who's going to link shields with me if it has to go down? That's what we're doing. And when you're too much of a coward to look me in the eyes, you get jumped in some masculine societies for that. You know what I'm saying? In the hood, in prison, where masculinity is like a thing. Like, everybody's got you pegged, bro. You know? But it breaks my heart. And I'm like, the dude probably doesn't have a dad. He's terribly insecure. He's too insecure to just look at me. Yeah. You know, it breaks my heart for these dudes, but at the same time, it's upsetting.
I see it all the time.
I see it all the time, especially this generation, dude.
What do you think is going to happen as we go into this year? And, you know, 2024, everyone's talking about, we got a crazy election ahead of us and all this stuff.
God bless them.
Before we close, and we get to how people can find you. Yeah. How does this year end?
Man, I pray. You know what I'm saying? That I pray that it's just gonna be all right, dog. But you know, and I'm in the habit. I pray to the good Lord, man, with all my heart. But I work like he ain't coming.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? My man. You know what I'm saying? And he loves that. You know? To him who has more will be given. You know what I'm saying? So, man. I know we have an election season, an election year coming up. As a private security guy, the last election year, I think we saw like 3.5 black swans. Like, it was like COVID, George Floyd, like 2 other crazy things. Yeah. We got a bunch of civil unrest. And for me, you know, like, there's a part of me that wonders if we're even going to have an election. There's a part of me that wonders if we're even going to get that far.
Yeah, me too.
There's another part of me that's just looking at the reality and the probability that, you know, 10 million unknowns that have been tracked come into America. It's a lot of unknown variables. Yeah. You know, I fear seeing an insurgency or an attack like what happened in Israel. Mm-hmm. It would be very easy to do something like that.
Very easy.
I'm surprised we haven't seen one yet.
I'm shocked we haven't seen one.
Yeah, exactly. It almost makes me wonder who's behind it. But anyway, so
because here's the thing. Here's a little known fact, and I know you know this.
Yeah.
And you touched on it really briefly, and you kind of glazed over it.
Yeah.
But talking to my friends down who are on the border patrol, they said, Suresh, majority of these people are not coming from Mexico.
Right.
They're coming from countries.
It's like 100 plus different countries,
all
man.
around the world.
Yeah.
They just happen to be coming through the same
through Mexico,
through Mexico. And I said, really? And he rattled off some of the countries.
Yeah, countries I haven't even heard of.
Yeah, and you're like, what? Where is that?
Yeah,
where is that?
They were like, one of the things they said to me was like, yeah, man, they had a civil war like the month before this person came through, so it literally wasn't a country. And we had to go like look it up online and realize a new country was established somewhere in like Eastern Europe somewhere, you know, and like,
bizarre.
And he came here.
But so anyway, so to your point, yeah. I don't know if we're going to have an election.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to come of it.
Right. I'm afraid I would hate to see an insurgency. I know that I heard that the World Economic Forum and even heard some things about Homeland Security, that they're doing rehearsals for EMP attacks.
Yeah.
I heard about rehearsals for a cyber attack where the internet gets shut down, you know, like everything like Y2K-ish type of behavior. And the reality of most of those attacks is that you've got 24 hours to get out before people realize the lights might not be coming on for a while, and it turns into the Purge 2024.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, there's a lot of variables on the table that literally have like, there's a lot of like little flags, but there's target indicators that are popping up that suggest that a few of or many of these things can happen. And the reality too with the election is I just feel like cats are like willing to play dirty, bro. Like I can't put anything past some of these. I can't put anything past these guys. Like, I mean, with all the stuff we've seen over the last few years, there's some moves that were really dirty, and I see a lack of accountability, and I see a willingness in our enemies to do whatever it takes not to lose control. And I also see, and this is beautiful but dangerous, I also see that they are losing control. I also see that you can't just go on TV and tell people to do whatever you want to tell them to do. Hey, take a jab, put a thing on your face. We're gonna, you know, make sure we can tell your children about sex, whatever it is. Like people are not like,
people aren't down
you
with that.
lost the narrative, pimp. Like you had your shot.
Yep.
You know, and like people are now like, nah, bro. But which is cool. I like that. But I'm a tactical human being. I understand strategy, and so when it's like I give you an offer you can't refuse. But when you start to refuse it, I have to use trauma to get you to bend the knee.
Yeah.
And these guys have a lot of different switches they can flip to cause massive trauma in the economy. The internet's a light switch away from can be shut off. Like there's a lot that can happen. Or an insurgency can be coordinated and explode all over the United States very easily.
Yeah.
And we have a public that's not ready to deal with any of these things because we've gotten so far away from being self-reliant. And there's 10 million people is another country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like a unified nation?
10 million that we know of. That's
right.
the reported number.
Yeah, exactly.
That could
we
be
know it's higher. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A unified nation, you hit them with a catastrophe or a trauma, they actually get stronger, as we saw at the beginning of all the wars, right? But a nation that's been saturated and watered, the culture has been saturated, watered down, years of teaching kids to hate America, years of creating weaker human beings, you throw catastrophe at that. They all go into self-preservation mode and they cannibalize each other.
Yeah.
You let that happen for a while, you turn the lights on after 8 months. And you pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
So that's what the security professionals are thinking about, planning for. It's time to get your emergency management plan together and pray. You know, pray. I always say, improve your plan, improve your position, improve your network, pray and buy bullets. You know what I'm saying? That's the game, bro. That's the game.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
Where can people find you, man?
Yeah, man. So Byron _Rodgers on Instagram. But if you put in Byron Rodgers, you'll find my Instagram, you'll find my YouTube, you'll find my website, ByronRodgersMotivation.com, or just ByronRodgers.com. It all goes to the same place. Private security operations, Bravo Research Group, or BravoResearchGroup.com. You know, it's all there. Protector Nation, ProtectorNation.com. And then if you want to get into the executive protection industry, we get guys in making 6 figures, no matter what your background is. If you have a heart for it, you know, and you're willing to do what it takes, executive, EPSpecialist.com.
Awesome.
EPSpecialist.com.
Brother, I can't thank you enough. This was a long time coming.
Yes, it was,
but
brother.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to put all the links for you to track this man down, reach out to him, learn from him, grow your knowledge. I'm going to put it all down below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.